Everyone's asking the wrong question about Claude. They ask, can Claude make me a millionaire? But the real question is darker. What kind of millionaire does Claude create? Because there are two versions of this story. One is the dream, a tiny team and massive revenue. AI doing the work that used to need a whole company. The other version is the warning. Big numbers, messy proof, and a business moving faster than trust can keep up with. That is the part most AI millionaire videos skip. They show you the headline, but they don't show you the receipts. So today, I want to separate the real Claude wealth stories from the fake ones. Not with hype, not with jealousy, with one simple test. Did Claude remove a real bottleneck? Did the market prove that the bottleneck was worth money? And did the story survive scrutiny? If it passes all three, I pay attention. If it only has a massive number, that's when we start to get suspicious. Because businesses make great thumbnails, although receipts make real businesses. So let's start with the story everyone ran, Medvi. This is the AI millionaire dream in its purest form. 2 people. Roughly 20,000 up front, and now a reported 401 million in revenue as of 2025. Then reports frame the company as being on pace for 1.8 billion in 2026. And yes, Claude was a part of the stack, but so was ChatGPT and Grok. You can see why this story exploded. It sounds like the future everyone had been waiting for. One tiny team, one giant market, and a bunch of AI tools doing the heavy lifting. But here is where the story gets uncomfortable. Claude can scale output, Claude can scale operations, and Claude can scale speed. But if the business has trust problems, Claude can scale those too. What happened was the FDA sent a warning letter addressed to Medvi over compounded GLP-1 marketing claims. Medvi said the cited website was connected to an affiliate. Now that distinction matters, but it does not erase the scrutiny. Then came the ad issue. Thousands of meta ads were linked to Medvi. Some appeared under doctor personas that did not look real. And that is the part that changes the story. Because now it's not just Claude helped build a massive company. It is also what happens when AI helps a company move faster than its trust layer. That does not mean the company is fake. It means the case study is messy, and messy case studies make dangerous roadmaps. Now compare that with Vulcan Technologies. This is the quieter story, but honestly, it is the more useful one. Non-technical founders use Claude and Claude Code to build around regulatory complexity. They won public sector work in Virginia, then they later raised an 11 million seed round. That is a very different kind of receipt. Not look at our revenue claim, not trust the founder, a government customer actually cared enough to use their product. That matters. Because the magic was not that Claude wrote code. The magic was Claude helped them attack a valuable bottleneck. That is the entire game. Find a painful bottleneck, use AI to move faster, and then get a real buyer to validate it. That is why Vulcan is a better Claude story than Medvi. Medvi is exciting, but Vulcan is instructive. Medvi shows what happens when AI scales growth. Vulcan shows what happens when AI compresses execution. Those sound similar, but they're not. Growth without trust is fragile. Execution against a real bottleneck is valuable, and that is the difference most people miss. And this is where the AI millionaire narrative goes off the rails. People look at the outliers and turn it into advice. They say, this person made millions with AI, so you can too. That is not advice, that is a dopamine trap. Because the average person is not starting with $1 billion market. They do not have distribution, they do not have a proven buyer, and they do not have a team ready to absorb the chaos. Most people are starting much smaller. That is why the $200 number matters. Vantage Hustle puts the median side hustle around $200 a month. That number is boring, but boring numbers are useful. They tell you where the reality starts. AI might help you build something you could not build before, but the first realistic win is not millionaire money, it is leverage, then consistency, then maybe some income. That is a much better expectation than these YouTube videos are giving you, because if you expect Claude to make you rich, you will quit when it doesn't. But if you expect Claude to make you faster, you will actually use it properly. Anthropic's economic index gives us a better signal. Claude is showing up in higher value work, coding, writing, analysis. That does not mean Claude users are rich. It means Claude is being pulled into work where speed and judgment matter. That is the most important part. Claude is not valuable because it replaces everyone. Claude is valuable because it shrinks the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. That is why builders should care. Not because every prompt becomes a business, but because every serious builder now has more leverage than they had 2 years ago. And then Jensen Huang throws a grenade into the whole story. He says the next generation of millionaires may not be AI coders. It might be plumbers and electricians. At first, that sounds like the opposite of the Claude story, but it is actually the same story, different bottleneck. AI needs data centers, and data centers need power. Power needs people who can build, wire, cool, and maintain the physical world. So maybe the next AI millionaire is not the person prompting all day. Maybe it's the person closest to the bottleneck: software, regulation, infrastructure. The money does not go to AI users. It goes to people who use AI near a valuable constraint. That is the lesson I would actually take away from this. Do not ask, can Claude make me rich? Ask, what painful constraint can Claude help me remove? Then ask a second question. Who would pay if that constraint disappeared? And that's the entire business. If you cannot answer that, Claude is just a productivity tool, still useful, but probably not a millionaire machine. But if you can answer it, now you have something. Not because Claude is magic, but because Claude lets you attack the bottleneck faster than before. That is what happened in the best AI wealth stories. Not random prompting, not lazy automation, not I asked ChatGPT for a business idea. The real stories have a painful problem, a buyer with urgency, and proof that survives scrutiny. That is the real wealth test. AI leverage, market validation, and no hidden trust debt. Vulcan gets closer to that test. Public sector problem, government customer, seed round. Whereas Medvi is harder to use as a roadmap. Massive growth claim, real AI usage, but also FDA scrutiny and ad questions. Again, that does not mean it's fake. It means that it is not clean. And if you're learning from a case study, clean matters. Because the goal is not to copy the headline. The goal is to understand the mechanism. What did AI actually remove? Who paid for the result? What proof exists outside of the founder's own story? That is how you protect yourself from AI millionaire bait. And honestly, that is how you find the real opportunities. So should you be using Claude to build income right now? Yes, absolutely. But use it for the right reason. Not because it's going to magically make you rich. Use it because it can make you dangerously fast. Fast at research, fast at writing, fast at building. And if you aim that speed at a real bottleneck, that's where things are going to get interesting. That is where the side income starts. That is where small products start. And that is where real businesses start. The millionaire outcome is the headline. The bottleneck is the lesson. And most people are staring at the wrong one. So next time you see an AI made me rich story, do not ask if it sounds impressive. Ask if it has the receipts. Ask what bottleneck AI removed. And ask who proved it was worth the money. If the answer is clear, study it. If the answer is vague, scroll past. Because Claude is not creating millionaires out of nowhere, it's creating the leverage. And leverage only turns into wealth when it is pointed at something the market already wants. That is the real story, less sexy, much more useful. And probably the difference between getting distracted by AI hype and actually building something useful. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more AI related videos. I'll keep tracking the real Claude wealth signals, not the loudest stories. I'll see you in the next one.